Okay, so here I have the data from that last problem on our worksheet. Notice that I have included column labels up here. That makes it easier to select which variable goes where, so you don't have to recall just what is C2, what is C3. Okay, so to do a linear regression, we're going to go to Stat, Regression, Regression, Fit Regression Model. Okay. So your responses are your outcomes or your Y variable. In this case, that's the entertainment cost in dollars. So here I have selected that particular column. So if nothing was there, all I would have to do is double click on that. Okay. Continuous predictors. So room cost is our predictor variable, our X. We have just one of them. It is a continuous variable. When we get into multiple regression next week, you might have multiple predictors, some of which are continuous and some of which are categorical. Okay. So here we have our output. In this chapter, I said you could skip the F value part. We're going to focus on the T values as our way to measure statistical significance. So here, first we see R squared. So recall that R squared, when you take the correlation coefficient and square it, R squared is the proportion of variance that is accounted for. If you wanted the correlation coefficient, you could just take the square root of that. Okay. So down here, we have our best fit linear regression equation. So this is our Y variable. So this would be Y hat, the Y value we are predicting, equals our intercept, which is 0, plus 1.163 times X, which is the cost of the room. If we look up at the table with the T values, the T-score that goes with using this predictor variable is 7.92. That's a very extreme T-score. Okay. If you look at the p-value that goes with that, it says 0.000. Now you can't write that p equals 0.000 because the p can never be all the way to 0. It gets closer and closer and closer, but never quite gets there. So if you were to write this in your report, you would say that p is less than 0.001. Okay, so that is extremely significant. Okay, so let's just write very significant. All right, so in this case, we would reject the null hypothesis. Recall that when doing correlations, the null hypothesis is always going to be that there is no correlation, that R equals 0. Here we can say that R most definitely does not equal, well, not most definitely, there's still a probability, less than a 0.001 probability, but R, we're going to conclude that R does not equal 0. So reject the null hypothesis. This is significant. There is a correlation between how much someone pays for a hotel room and how much they spend on entertainment. Now, if you wanted to graph this, the correct type of graph is a scatter plot. And you want the one with the regression line. So here I have entered our Y variable and our X variable. And we get this. Oh, where'd it go? So we get this scatter plot. So here we see our predictor variable, our X, our predicted variable. We have all of our data points, and here is our regression line.